Minions! It's a new Minions movie! Minions! Feeling patriotic? You might want to go to the movies this weekend. Minions! This movie's still in theaters, and now this movie's in theaters too. Minions! What a great time to be a kid. I mean, a movie fan. Yeah. Stay tuned for my review of Minions and Monsters, as well as Young Washington. And staying in the spirit of our country's 250th birthday, I'll do a special retro reel review segment highlighting my two all-time favorite Independence Day movies. Two very different movies. All that and more coming up this weekend at the movies. Minions! Welcome to This Weekend at the Movies, Independence Day edition. All that plus these guys too. How many claps out of 5 will I give each of the new movies I review this weekend? And in each case, will I advise you to run to the theater and see it, to wait and stream it, or just skip it altogether? Watch on to find out. Oh, and please stay till the end of the video for 2 quick personal announcements. This Minions movie won't just entertain kids, but adults too, and the older the better. Minions and Monsters is a prequel. All the Minions movies are prequels to the Despicable Me films, but this Minions movie takes place before the other Minions movies. This is the closest thing we've gotten to a Minions origin story. As a museum docent tells us, there have been tribes of Minions from the beginning of time wandering the earth looking for evil masters to serve. We follow one specific tribe of Minions, who never seem to age, by the way, throughout history from master to master until they end up somewhere where they're sure to find an evil master to serve. 1920s Hollywood. They accidentally become movie stars and later strike out on their own. They want to make a monster movie, but they need monsters. They find some, but they get much more than they bargained for and have to deal with the results. I won't spoil anything, but I can say that at the conclusion of this movie, there's a really fun reveal that most movie fans will probably not see coming. I know I didn't. Oh, and FYI, there are several additional scenes sprinkled throughout the credits. This is the Minions movie we've been waiting for. I love the Minions, but I found 2015's Minions movie to be disappointing, a wasted opportunity. 2022's entry was better, but still didn't use the Minions' charm and their characters' potential to maximum benefit like this movie does. Here, the Minions are as fun and funny as they should be, and this movie has a better plot. Set mostly in old Hollywood, we get homages to movies like 1958's The Blob, 1951's The Day the Earth Stood Still, and even 1903's The Great Train Robbery. I also caught blink and you'll miss it references to movies as diverse as 1955's Lady and the Tramp and 1902's groundbreaking French film A Trip to the Moon. So, the more of a movie fan you are, especially in regards to classic cinema, the more you'll enjoy this movie. And if you're an old movie fan, a mature, seasoned, well-rounded movie fan, well, that'll only help. But don't get me wrong, like all of the Minions and Despicable Me movies, this Illumination Studios movie is a lot of fun for the whole family. The appearance, speech, and antics of the Minions are as adorable and enjoyable as ever, if not more so. This is definitely the best of the first 3 Minions movies, assuming that there'll be more. And this is probably the most creative and entertaining Illumination production since the original Despicable Me in 2010. I give Minions and Monsters 5 claps out of 5. Go to the theater and see it as soon as you can. I'm still on the fence as to whether the 3D glasses were worth it, but this movie definitely is. Fun fact before we move on, this guy represents the first and only time I ever scored at one of those claw machines. And not only was I blessed enough to get my very own Minion, I got the one named Dave, just like me. And now, he watches over me from the comfort of my nightstand as I sleep. Told you I love the Minions. Now, Dave, if you stand right over there, you can watch the rest of the taping. And if you're good, I'll get you a banana later. The title of the movie, Young Washington, sums it up pretty well, better than the trailer anyway. You see, the trailer emphasizes the battle scenes, which are only part of the movie. The movie does open with the film's climactic battle, but gives us a cliffhanger, wondering what the young Washington will do next. Then we flash back to a very young Washington, just as his father dies and his much older half-brother re-enters his life. Through a series of short scenes, we get a pretty good idea why Washington turns out the way he does. Next thing we know, he's 21, and he's struggling to break into society and the British military, both very difficult propositions, considering he owns no land and he's only a colonial. But not one to easily take no for an answer. We see Washington with a confidence bordering on arrogance, unbridled determination, and through sheer force of will, gain a surveying job from the wealthy Lord Fairfax and from the governor of Virginia, a kind of non-commissioned commission representing the British Army to the Native Americans and the French military in the Ohio Valley. All of this leads to the beginning of the French and Indian War, during which Washington learns a lot and makes a name for himself through both victory and defeat. Young Washington is a terrific summary of the early life of the future commander of the Continental Army and President of the United States. The movie perfectly balances hero worship with humanity, leaning appropriately much more in the direction of the latter. While watching Washington's early struggles and rocky rise to prominence, I never felt like I was listening to a boring history lecture or watching a by-the-numbers documentary. This is a dramatization in the best sense of the word, educating while it entertains and inspires, reminding us of one reason why we should all be so proud to be Americans, a reason named George Washington. Another reason for this movie's excellence is its excellent cast. With Oscar winner Ben Kingsley, Emmy winners Kelsey Grammer and Mary Louise Parker, and longtime motion capture actor Andy Serkis, all playing prominent roles and doing some of the best work of their illustrious careers. The movie's star, William Franklin Miller, and even his younger version, played by Will Joseph, are similarly impressive. I'd also like to mention that the movie's cinematography and editing are excellent as well. Given all this, I would not be doing, as two characters in the movie would put it, my solemn duty if I didn't give young Washington 5 claps out of 5. See it this weekend at the movies if you can. If not, you can always relax at home and cinematically celebrate our nation's 250th by watching one or both of the movies that I'm about to talk about in this weekend's Retro Reel Reviews segment. Welcome to this weekend's Retro Reel Reviews. 2 movies that trade off of the idea of young Washington and Washington's legacy and are very appropriate to be shown this time of year. These 2 movies I try to watch on or around every July 4th. The first one actually named Independence Day, and the second one based on the OG Independence Day. 1776, which came out in 1972, is the movie version of the award-winning 1969 Broadway musical. It depicts the 4 weeks leading up to the July 4th, 1776 signing of the Declaration of Independence. It does it through a combination of dramatic scenes, funny moments, and song. The main protagonist is John Adams, played by William Daniels, an Emmy winner for St. Elsewhere, and beloved for his role in other TV series like Knight Rider, Boy Meets World, and many other series and movies. We see him corresponding with his wife Abigail, played by Virginia Vestoff, known mainly for TV's Dark Shadows, as she acts as his emotional support as he is arrogantly struggling to get the Second Continental Congress to take up the issue of independence from Great Britain, and later arrogantly struggling to get the Declaration of Independence written and accepted by this diverse and divided group of men. In his efforts, he works closely with Benjamin Franklin, played by the great Howard Da Silva, and, of course, Thomas Jefferson, played by Ken Howard, known mainly for his TV work on The White Shadow and for being the first president of the newly merged SAG-AFTRA union. All four of these actors are reprising their roles from the Broadway version. We also get Blythe Danner, Gwyneth Paltrow's mother and a wonderful actress in her own right, as a young, beautiful, charming, and talented Martha Jefferson. And a keen eye will also notice Howard Kane, Major Hochstetter from Hogan's Heroes, and James Noble from TV's Benson as delegates to the convention. You might think that a musical telling the story of how the Declaration of Independence came to be would be disrespectful or even ridiculous. You'd be wrong. Besides the fact that even more serious topics have been the subject of musicals, this musical treats its subject matter with fun and creativity, but never diminishes its gravity. And the songs aren't just very entertaining, they're very catchy. I put the entire soundtrack in my pop music heavy playlist, and I love it. The voice of this movie, in words both spoken and sung, are fun when they can be and reverential when they need to be. Even serious students of American history will learn a lot and have fun doing it. I highly recommend 1776 to all patriotic Americans, students of history, fans of musicals, and movie fans in general. You can thank me later. And now on to the second of this week's 2 retro reel reviews of July 4th movies. This next movie, probably everybody watching has seen, but there might be a few who haven't, and I'd like to share my thoughts on it. One of my 2 all-time favorite July 4th movies. Independence Day was released in 1996, right before Independence Day. What a coinkydink, huh? And it turns out that it was released 30 years ago this week. I'd like to share my perspective on Independence Day, why I think it works so well, why it's so special and so enduring. Independence Day tells the story of a hostile alien invasion and how the peoples and nations of the world work together to save the planet. Imagine an enormous spaceship coming towards Earth and then opening up and sending out about 30 15-mile wide spaceships that park over the most important cities all around the world, and you have the makings of a global panic. The young American president, James Whitmore, played by Bill Pullman, does his best to manage the crisis. But when the spaceships launch a devastating and coordinated attack on the cities below, including New York City and Washington, D.C., they seem impossible to stop. As they move from city to city, destroying as they go in an attempt to eliminate the human race and take over our planet, it takes a Herculean effort to get the people and nations of the world to work together and some good old-fashioned American ingenuity and heroism to save the day. Yeah, the humans win in the end. Wait, what is the statute of limitations on spoilers? I mean, it's got to be less than 30 years, right? If not, I'm sorry. Independence Day remains one of the most popular sci-fi movies ever, decades after its release. But why? I've often thought this movie could have been called Will Smith Saves the World, or alternately Jeff Goldblum Saves the World, or even Randy Quaid Saves the World. They all do, under the unflappable leadership of Bill Pullman's President Whitmore. All 4 of these actors play characters who perform critical tasks at critical moments in the movie, and with any one of them out of the equation as this story is told, the aliens would have won. That's one reason this movie is so good. Its portrayal of examples of indispensable individual heroism. I think another reason why this movie has remained so popular is the way it shows people coming together in our country and from around the world in pursuit of a common goal. I believe we probably all wish that there was more of that in the real world, world, especially today. Now, whether it's one of these two reasons or the deep bench of talent in the all-star cast portraying such interesting characters, or the great visual effects, especially considering that this is 1996, or the thrilling action sequences, or all of these reasons, or some other reason, I think it's clear that Independence Day is a movie that should be viewed and revisited from time to time. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Before we close out this weekend at the movies, two quick personal announcements. First of all, the channel has surpassed the 100 subscriber milestone, and total views of videos on the channel are nearing 10,000. Not bad for a channel that's just 2 months old. My thanks to all of you who made these things possible. And that leads me right into my second personal announcement. It's my birthday! Yay! Well, this weekend anyway. And if I may be so bold, I'd like to ask you for a birthday present. Don't worry, it won't cost you anything. If you've enjoyed this channel at all, please subscribe if you haven't already. If you have subscribed, please like and comment on my TW at TM videos. And tell your fellow movie fans about the channel. Send them a link. I'd really appreciate it, and it would make my milestone birthday that much happier. What's that? Which milestone is it? You'll have to guess. Or you could go to my Facebook page or my actor page on IMDb. Either way, thank you very much for your interest in TW at TM. And thank you too. You've been watching This Weekend at the Movies. Click the logo that pops up on your screen so you don't miss any of my honest, spoiler-free, quick turnaround reviews of the newest movies in theaters, in time for you to decide whether to see them opening weekend. You'll also get my retro reel reviews of some terrific movies from years past, usually with some connection to that weekend's new movies. And please like and comment on my TW at TM videos. I love hearing from my fellow movie fans and exchanging thoughts and ideas with you. My name is Dave McLean. Thank you very much for allowing me to share my love of movies with you.